Hey, everybody, how's it going? Thanks so much for joining us. Cool.
Who do we have here today? Chase,
Drew,
Drew.
you got Miguel.
Hi,
Miguel put a Y instead of a one. That's close, man.
Madara, Nadia, Damien. Hey, I can hear and see fine. Yeah, a lot of you are gonna watch this on a replay because some of you are in Europe. For those of you who are awake, that's awesome. Welcome.
Really excited that you guys are here. I want to tell you everything on every slide, but I'm not going to because we have prompts on the next slide. So
Yeah.
this is the masterclass. You're in the right place. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So this is our agenda and our ground rules for today. So we're going to just tell you a little bit about our story, how we met, and how we progressed and where we're at now, that kind of stuff, because there is a lot in that story that I think will benefit a lot of folks that kind of represent the rest of the agenda for the day. All right. We're going to talk about masculine and feminine polarity and the charge that gets created between that, which is really cool. Al's going to lead us through communication. She's very good at that. We're going to jump into a little bit of attraction and intimacy, and then we're going to go into Q&A and do a little live coaching. So whatever questions you guys have, we'll throw it in the chat, and we'll actually work through it together and kind of pick our brains.
Yeah, and also like if something comes up, as we're going to be sharing some information with you, if a question comes up, like keep it so we'll be able to answer that at the end. And I just want to say that this is a safe space, so feel free to just be honest and vulnerable and ask any questions that you want. Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to, but I would encourage you because that's actually a first step in creating that honesty with yourself and trusting you and others around you. So yeah, if anything you want to ask us, we will definitely answer at the very end as well and help you out, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing is, we've never done this before. We're very passionate about this topic. So we're going to try and hit all the stuff. We may run out of time. We may go over. I don't know. We'll see what you guys want to do.
Yeah.
So we'll have the live coaching Q&A, and then we got some homework for you. Yeah, you're gonna have to do some homework.
Homework.
Can you get
Exciting.
Can you get rid of that or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little blue thing.
Does that work?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Perfect. Okay, some ground rules. So we're going to talk about hard truths here. So if you are with your partner now, or even if you're by yourself, we're going to encourage you to be honest. And intimacy, relationships, communication, these are amazing things. They're also hard things, right? And they can really trigger us. They can be deep rooted in our programming, who we are as people. So I encourage you to be open and honest, and also know that even if you're with yourself right now, it takes a lot of courage to be honest and open about these things. So we're going to get into hard truths. Be brave enough to be honest.
Yeah, also tonight we're gonna share some things with you that we have personally experienced, maybe in a past relationships or through different types of trainings, coachings, and some of the stuff might be really hard to hear. So I just want you to approach this masterclass with maybe open mind and open heart. Sometimes, when we are used to hearing certain things or we think a certain way, it's very hard to hear a different opinion and automatically our beliefs start to reject that. So I just want you to have an open mind tonight. And if there's something that you don't like that you're hearing from us, that's okay. Maybe that's your trigger, and that's a good way to see where you might want to go into and work more on that area. So we might trigger you tonight, and we apologize in advance.
Yeah. It'll happen though. That's
Yeah.
where growth happens. I dare you to offend me. I like it. Cool.
Yes.
All right. So we're also going to talk about personal accountability as we get into these hard truths and these triggers. Just want to be aware of your piece in the conversation, right? And just be accountable to your side of that conversation and your side of accountability for actions, conversation, whatever that is. Not a place of judgment, like Alice said. We want to focus on ourselves, right? And growth together. And then embracing discomfort without judgment kind of goes along with what we were saying. The big thing is if we share in here, like Alice said, it's a safe space. If anybody does share, that takes a lot of bravery. And so let's embrace that discomfort of maybe this is not something we want to hear right now. Maybe we don't want to see it in ourselves or a partner, right? But recognize the bravery and try not to judge, be open. And that's about it.
Yeah, and also remember, like, I don't know if anybody, I forgot who is it by, but there's this quote that when you are like 30, you worry about what people think about you. When you're 40, you realize nobody even thought about it. When you're 50, basically nobody cares about you really. If we think about it in a bigger scheme, you know, people mainly care about themselves. So don't worry about anything else, what people think, what people say, because the main goal is for you to achieve what you want, be happy, have an amazing relationship or whatever else you want in your life, right? And I guess like, yeah, so just again, be open.
Cool. Can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Yes. Yes.
Thanks for
Oh,
working
wait,
with
no,
that.
there's one more slide.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this new slide.
Yeah, there we are.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who we are. Yeah, so my name's Johnny. A lot of you know me. This is Alan.
It's 3 times.
I know. I know. And so big thing is who we are. So I'm a life coach. I've been a coach for a while, NLP practitioner, cognitive behavioral therapy practitioner, dove deep into psychology, and Al is really big on psychology and relationship coaching. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, yeah. So I don't have as much, like I don't have an LP, but I have a lot of psychological background and a lot of spiritual side as well, and maybe more like feminine stuff, you know, astrology and all of these kind of things. So definitely a lot of combined experience on relationships and generally like knowledge about personal relationships for yourself and others.
Mhm. And the biggest thing about the two of us is we are so committed to growing. I've never met anybody that grows as fast or as deep as Ala does. And same for her with me. That's actually like one of the first things we connected on. And so we've both done a ton of work on ourselves internally and also around relationships. And then when we met each other, we just saw the benefits of all the things we had done, right? All the work we had done individually, and then that allowed us to communicate really well and talk about things that didn't go to plan, right? Or rocky bits in the road, speed bumps, whatever. And it just felt so amazing. Like I've never felt like that. I don't
Yeah, no, I've never felt it like that either. And I think like I spent actually a long time, you know, for the last, I don't know, 10 years, like understanding relationships. I come from like a broken family. So my parents got divorced at a very young age. And so I didn't really, I have a very, I had very different idea of what a relationship is, how you're loved, what a healthy relationship looks like. And so it's been a very, very long journey for me personally to get to a point where I am now. And it's almost like Johnny was going through similar journey just on his own way. And then we actually met, oh, we'll tell you a story in a bit. Yeah,
that's next.
yeah.
And the big thing is we both love helping others. So we did this ton of work. We found each other and we experienced just this amazing connection. How great it feels when you're open with communication, honest, radically honest, all kinds of stuff. And we're like, okay, we got to help others feel this way, and we got to share everything we know. So we just thought, hey, let's throw a masterclass together and see if we can help all of our friends. So
Well, actually, it was my idea, but you know, just saying,
she's the visionary.
But to be honest, like I just like Johnny said, like he's even more into this stuff because he's been coaching for a while. But for me, I just love sharing a lot of mindset stuff, and people who follow me, I do actually food, but I've been doing mindset for years, and I generally want to help people as well to feel the way I feel. I feel that it's hard sometimes to see the bright things when life keeps happening, right? So if you can have the right partner who is going to make your life better, easier, drive you forward, and make everything kind of stand out even more in your life, then honestly, I feel like there's nothing else in this life that's better. And so, yeah, we just want to help and share and hopefully inspire you guys so much today and share all the knowledge that we personally have. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
How are we feeling, guys? Are we ready to get started? Put a 1 in the chat, or if you're feeling spicy, you can put like some sort of emoji, you know?
Do you mind looking at the chat on your screen?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I don't have to, oh, I got it
No,
up
you
here
have it
too.
there.
Yeah. I'm getting used to this style of Zoom. I dare you to defend me. Honesty is important. Ones. Okay, let's go. We're ready to go. All right. So we're gonna get into our story. Because there's a lot of cool little tidbits in there that we're going to talk about in the rest of the agenda. So where are we at? 16 minutes. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So I met Alla walking down the street. Alla was walking down the street look at her, she's gorgeous, right? She walked by, I saw her, I saw that face, and I had to run after her. Like I literally had to go talk to her. I had to go find out something about this woman. She was just gorgeous. Talked to her on the street. She's very interesting. I asked her to go grab ice cream with me so I could get to know her a little bit more. And she said no, because she had a tub of ice cream in her bag and it was melting because we're in Mexico. And so got her number. She also said no to my first 3 date requests. Tried to take her out. She's like, no, that's not my thing. Tried something else. No way. Tried a third time. I don't have time. I was like, you know what? Let's just have a cup of coffee. You've got 30 minutes for a cup of coffee, right? And she finally agreed and said yes. And the reason I mentioned that is because persistence is so key. And we're going to talk about masculine traits and what goes along with that.
And I just
Yeah,
want to say, yeah, like that I didn't say no to him because, let's say I was just like in a completely different headspace. I had a really bad day. I was going through a really tough period in my life. And so like it wasn't that I was rejecting Johnny at that time. So I want men to hear this message, that sometimes women can be in a different mood, right? We might be going through stuff, or we might be emotional or sad. And so when we say no to a date or something like that, doesn't necessarily mean we're saying no to you. It could be just saying no because right now in this moment, I don't feel like doing anything. But I think because he was still being very gentlemanly and nice. And then I was like, oh, he's a really like adorable man. Like he seems very kind.
adorable and persistent. Yeah.
Adorable. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so she that's a great point. We're only 50% of the conversation, each one of us, right? So I know a lot of men get discouraged when they don't get a text back right away, or a woman does say no, and like Alice said, you have no idea what the other person's going through, right? All you can control is your own state. And so go after what you want. That's what I did. So, anyways, took her to coffee, realized I wrote down the 31 things that we had in common based on
Aren't
our 31-minute conversation at coffee. And I was like, we've got to get to know each other a little bit more, right? So I took her to dinner. I was leaving town the next day. And I took her on her dream date. It's funny.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, this was crazy. So on my Instagram, I sometimes ask like Q&As. I'm like, guys, ask me anything. And somebody asked me, what is my perfect dream date? And I literally visualized that perfect date. And I've, posted a photo, like literally like lovely dinner on the beach with like, rose petals. It was all romantic. I'm a very romantic person. And then the next day he invites me for dinner. And it's literally the dinner that I posted like a day ago in the picture. It was like perfect on the beach, a separate table. Do you want to tell them the trick that you used?
I did, yeah. It's not a trick. I was actually going to tell it, but so the thing is, when we got there, I said, "Hey, you know what I heard is that this place gives really good tables if we tell them it's our anniversary. So let's just say it's our anniversary. We've been married for 3 years." I'd never heard that before. I just thought it'd be fun. I just did what I wanted to, right? I thought this is cheeky. This is a fun girl. Let's try it out. And I could tell you a lot of details about this story, but
Yeah.
we would be here for like hours.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
But essentially,
Beat it up.
yeah, we told them it was our anniversary, and they literally brought out a table and put it on the water, right in front of the water. Pulled out the table, pulled out chairs, tablecloths, everything that wasn't there when we got there, and we just had a super romantic dinner. It was crazy, yeah. But one key thing happened in there. So with this amazing woman, we've got so much in common. There's all kinds of sparks flying, wasn't there?
Yeah,
And
sure.
and but the waiter just would not shut up. He just kept talking through the entire dinner. He's talking to her, he's talking to me. She's gorgeous. He's starting to hit on her, and it was getting in the way of what I wanted to do. And this is important because in the past, I would have just let that happen. I would have not led because I didn't want to impose on somebody else. I didn't want to be rude. But I thought to myself, this is a woman I really want to get to know, and this waiter is not going to get in the way of that. So I just told him, hey, I appreciate you, man, but I'm really trying to get to know her. She's trying to get to know me. I'd appreciate it if you just give some space. I'll let you know if we need something. And she just loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's so sexy. Like, I think as a woman, like when a man is confident and he leads. So I saw a lot of qualities in Johnny that I liked. You know, he wasn't scared to call a waiter if I needed water. And for me, like in my feminine state, you know, I want a man who can lead, who can say, who's not scared, you know, who is confident. Even if you're not confident, but you pretend to be confident, it still works, right?
Yeah.
So
And the reason I mentioned that is I just lost my train of thought
yeah,
completely.
I mean, so
Yeah, I
it's
was
a
listening
great
to you.
story. I know you got distracted.
I did actually. But yeah, so the thing about that is the leading piece. It's doing what you want and not letting anybody get in your way. And so we're going to talk about feminine and masculine polarity, and that's one of those pieces in there for the masculine side is leading. And oh, I remember what I was going to say. One thing, so if anybody's on here, my good friends, Miguel's on here, he's my good friend, he knows this. But thing about Allah is Allah comes from a culture that is very direct and honest. It was a culture shock to me. There was no filter for a while. She delivered it very well. But she would just tell me these things. Like when I did something like that, she would just tell me how attractive she found it. And there was no filter. And I got direct feedback. And that's when I was like, more people have to hear this. They have to hear exactly what these ladies are thinking and what women find attractive. And Allah delivers it so well. She delivered it to me. I learned a ton, and I want to pass that on to others. So I'm going to tell you everything that I know about my side. Allah's going to be very honest and open about the feminine side. And hopefully we just give you a ton of information that maybe you hadn't heard before. And hopefully we break through some beliefs that you had that were incorrect. And we
It's
make
that Slavic honesty. Yeah.
Mhm.
And yes, hormones are a real thing. If we have any ladies here, I mean, I've been going through it. No, this is awesome. Obviously, like, well, we still have actually some time to tell our story. Our story's pretty long, guys, so I don't know. Give us some ones if you're enjoying it so far. Um,
I will say one other thing about our story. Persistence is super key. We met about 18 months ago. We came back. Actually, we didn't click the second time.
yeah, like, we actually want to be transparent that we don't have like a romantic love story, how it started. And I think it's actually really important to hear for a lot of people. I was going through a very tough time, and I actually was very honest with Johnny after he left, after our date was fantastic. We're not going to tell the story, right? About the rooftop.
Oh, you can tell the story. Yeah, it's fine with me.
It's fine. Guys, maybe we'll tell you at the end, okay? But anyway, so he left to America and we were messaging, and I said, look, like, you're an amazing guy. Like, I generally felt that he was really like nice and sweet. He doesn't like the word nice, but for me it was just like kind and genuine person. And I said to him, look, I just got out of a relationship. I'm not really interested and I'm not looking. And, you know, he was just like, look, that's cool, you know. And I was like, okay, no pressure then. That's fine. We'll chat. And so, yeah, we chatted for another year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I wasn't affected by that, right? Like some people get very upset. They push for what they want. They cross boundaries, all that kinds of stuff. It didn't affect me. It affected me because I knew how special she was, but it wasn't like life changing. It was like, well, you need some space. I can give you that space, right? And that's a very masculine trait. That was even before I knew that was a masculine trait. I just did what I thought was.
In your natural thingy.
Yeah, that's right. And so it took a year before I could kiss this woman here. It took me an entire year and
Months.
9 months.
9 months.
It's
Nine
pretty
to
close.
10 months.
It's
Yeah.
pretty close. It just sounds better.
Okay,
Stick
fine.
with
Fine.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the big thing was persistence and not letting it affect me, right? And I let her know how I felt about her. And the thing is, it just worked out. And we're actually pretty spiritual folks. She's more spiritual than I am. She's showing me some interesting stuff. But one thing about manifestation, whether you're spiritual or not, you know, they call it a bunch of different things. But the last piece in manifestation is letting go of attachment. And that was when we really clicked, is when I let go of the need for Allah. When I let go of the attachment to her, that's when we actually reconnected. And it was just a super cool feeling. So there's a bunch of details that happen in there. Like I said, we could talk for hours about this, but that's the big thing, is that we've learned, there's just been so many examples of great communication, great masculine, feminine polarity, great intimacy. And here we're like, let's share our story and share what we know with the world, you know?
Yeah, well, I think also for me it was like a trusting. I think it's kind of like hard sometimes. I personally don't trust a lot of people just because of whatever, you know, everybody has their own things. And so it was actually really good to get to know him better. One thing I want to say is, though, I felt like we were friends for me but he always made it clear that he wants me. So I don't know if that makes sense. Like, as in, not that he wants me, but he would always compliment me. He'd be like, "Oh, you're looking very sexy," or he would flirt. And so even though like I was like, okay, there was a potential. So I never actually ever put him into just friends bucket. It was more like, yeah, I'm getting to know you, but you are being flirty, which means that you're interested in me. And that way, for me, I was like, okay, like maybe I'm interested in you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we well, I know you skipped through the story, but I just want to mention that we did meet up in March because we would talk, and we met up in March and we just didn't click whatsoever. And so I was like, okay, I'm not interested. You are like, fine. And then we met up again 4 months later. I went to Arizona, and we actually had an amazing time, but I got scared and I ran away. And then we met up again in October, and that's when we finally like healed and clicked. And that's kind of, in short,
A lot
that's
of
how
details
the
wrong, but that's the thing, not being affected and being persistent. Yeah. And letting go for that need of attachment. That's where it wraps up there. So
yeah.
yeah, just an incredible ride. It's been crazy. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
So we're gonna jump into masculine and feminine polarity a little bit.
And
So
explain maybe like what it is, right? Does everybody know what is a masculine and feminine polarity? Can you put a 1 if you know?
that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry.
That's perfect. I was gonna
A
say,
two.
yeah, put a 1.
Two if you don't know.
2 if you haven't heard of it, yeah. Oh, while we're putting 1s and 2s in the chat, I wanted to say, Ella touched on something. I want to give you a tidbit for the guys that are out there. If you're struggling with being passive, nice guy, trying not to offend women, switch out beautiful and pretty for sexy. Let your intentions be known, be bold. It works really well. Okay.
1, 2, I can guess, but never in those terms. Okay.
All right,
Okay,
a couple
cool.
different ones. All right. So we'll talk a little bit about masculine and feminine polarity. So polarity is really what creates the spark, right? So this day and age, things are changing. We talk about traditional values, we talk about progressiveness, whatever your beliefs are, it doesn't really matter. For relationships, there has to be a spark, and that spark is created with polarity. It's just like magnets, right? You have a positive side, you have a negative side. Positive sides repel each other, negative sides repel each other, and there has to be some leadership and some followership and some polarity for there to be the attraction, the passion, the clear roles, everything like that. And so masculine and feminine polarity is a huge thing. And so there's a couple different traits when we think about it that that are very masculine on the side and feminine on the other side. And this this doesn't have to be man and woman, but in a relationship, whatever your situation is, there's a
Energy.
masculine energy and a feminine energy. And if it's not clear which role that's in, or if partners switch in and out of each energy, it can dissolve boundaries, and it can create a lot of confusion, and it can create unresolved tension, unspoken expectations, all kinds of stuff, right? And so being clear on who you are, how you identify as yourself, and just being confident in that space is super important. So I'll talk a little bit about masculine, she'll talk about feminine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say about polarity. Polarity basically means when, well, like you said, the good way to explain it probably is like a battery. You have the plus and you have the minus. And so you want the plus and the minus because then they work together. If you have 2 minuses or 2 pluses, it's just basically doesn't really work. And I think a lot of people are talking about this now because it's like a new breakthrough, but I think it's been there for years. But it's basically, we all have masculine and feminine energy, all of us, men and women, right? But sometimes what can happen is that women can get more into their masculine state, and vice versa, men can get more into their feminine state. And when that happens, that also works in relationships. But for me personally, I like to be more in my feminine state, and I want to be with a guy who is more masculine because that's kind of my natural way. I'm from Eastern Europe, our men are very masculine, so I'm used to that. But again, there's no right and wrong as long as you're happy with what you have, right? And obviously we will discuss some masculine traits and feminine traits, like what are they? And you can think, do they resonate with you? Do you feel like this is you? Like, are you more of masculine or feminine? And just note it down, write it down for yourself so you can understand and evaluate by the end, as well.
Yeah, nice. So I'll start with the masculine traits, right? So we think about masculinity. There might be some traits that you identify with, and there might be some ones that are new that you didn't really think of as like a masculine trait. So masculine roles. So first thing, let's talk about leadership. We're going to break into leadership, taking the charge, making decisions, being the leader. I can't tell you how much Allah and other ladies that we talk to appreciate when a man just makes plans, when he just takes charge. I talk to a lot of my friends who say it's just so nice to, like, even if you're working like tons, let's say a lady is working 40 hours a week, comes home, maybe she's the boss, right, at work. Maybe she's running a big company. She has a bunch of people that report to her. She shows up and the last thing she wants to do is make a decision about where to eat, something like that, right? So attractive when when she comes home and a guy's like, "Hey, made reservations. We're gonna be gone in 30 minutes. Pick out a dress or whatever," right? How's that?
Yeah, I think to be honest, well, for me personally, I love that. And actually, we have women here. Like, ladies, do you like when a guy like makes decisions or like plans to go for dinner and doesn't ask you, right? It's like, oh, what would you like? I feel like as a woman, when I'm being asked, I start to like think, and then I have 200 options, and then I'm like, oh, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that, and then we pick something, and then I change my mind. And actually, when a man is like, look, I'm taking you for sushi, or I'm taking, obviously you want to like that food as well, or he gives you just two options as well, right? That's sexy as well. I find that's like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pick one or two.
So
Yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah.
saying yes, yes.
Got plans sorted. Sweet. So that's the, one piece of leadership, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, and because that's such big. The other pieces are structure, right? Like having things sorted, having your system set up. A big thing is safety and creating a safe space for the feminine. And for me, actually, that was really confusing at first. Like for me, the last thing I would ever want to do is make a woman feel unsafe. So I actually worked in a very soft environment, and it was actually like I was actually told that I was too intimidating, and I was encouraged to sit down all the time, speak softer because I was intimidating ladies at work. And it really screwed me up, actually. I thought that was true, completely hid my strength, shut that down. And it took me a long time to get that back. It was crazy.
Mhm.
And what I learned was when we talk about creating safety from the masculine side, there's a couple different ones. We're actually going to talk about that deep, but showing her your strength is actually one of the things you can do that creates safety the quickest. And we'll talk about how to do that effectively for sure.
Yeah. And I think
But
safety is not just like, obviously as a woman, like I want to be protected physically, right, from a man, and I also want to be protected emotionally. So I think I never understood the emotional safety until like I'm, in this amazing relationship with Johnny, because I always wanted that, and I understood the logic behind it, and I understood the psychology behind it, but I never experienced it in real life. And honestly, it's been the most incredible thing when you feel emotionally safe. And I'll talk a little bit more from my perspective. What does that mean to me as a woman? What does that mean to be safe emotionally,
yeah, we have a whole little section on that. And
There's
then
so much to share.
and then the last two things, the big thing is consistency, right? So that's a trait that I didn't really think about to find really sexy. Consistency, and also with ambition. I didn't write ambition down. That was silly, because ambition is a trait that women find really attractive, right? If you find a man that's really got something he's going after. He knows what his plan is. He knows where he wants to be. That is super attractive to a lady. So ambition, and then consistency on the other side. So if you're constantly saying like, yeah, I want to start my own business, I have high aspirations, and then you go and watch Netflix all day, right? And you're telling her one thing and you're showing her something different, that actually creates a barrier in that safety piece. And it actually will start to drive away attraction, because women cannot be attracted to someone they don't feel safe with, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I also think consistency, for example, he tells me something, I will do this, and then he actually does it. That creates a lot of safety and trust between me and him. And I think as a man, and as a man, if you're going to say something to a woman, it's really important that you actually mean it and you're actually going to do it. So if you're saying like, oh, I will bring you this home, or I'll be back by this time, or it sounds like such a small thing, like who cares? Oh my gosh, I'm a little bit late, but actually creates a lot of mistrust and stress for us women. And so when you do what you say as a man or as a woman, depending on what relationship you're in or whatever, now it's all, different. But we're specifically talking obviously about our situation. I just started to relax. I was like, oh, like he said he's going to do it and he actually does it. So now I believe everything he says. Like I don't doubt anything. And as women, we like to question, test, think, like, it's like, is this actually going to happen? And it took a while, So I think it's really important for a woman to feel relaxed when she feels safe, when there's consistency with a guy. And it's literally from the smallest things.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be huge.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, like, I never knew this, it was really cool, and like I said, that's one of the things I appreciate about Alice so much and why I wanted to do this webinar is that, she's so transparent. I never knew that when I say I'm gonna fix the window, and then I actually fix the window, it's just 2 screws, it's not hard, but I actually do it. She's like, "Wow, that was sexy." It's sexy when you actually do what you say you're gonna do. And that could be really small. That could be like on a date. Like you make a decision and you're like, yeah, we're gonna go here. I'm gonna send you a car. You actually send a car. Or I'll pick you up at 6. You actually show up at 6, or whatever it is. Just following through on your word and having that consistency creates safety. And we have a whole section that safety is sexy, which is really cool. So to recap that, so masculine roles, it's a lot around leadership, structure, creating that safety, consistency, and ambition.
Yeah.
That's a really cool list. Yeah.
No, that's good. And now I want to tell you a little bit about feminine roles, right? And you know, as a woman, we have to be flexible. I would use that word, like a kitten, like a kitty that's gonna encourage the guy to keep doing the things that we want them to do. So for example, if you like that your man is, let's say you meet a guy who's in his masculine and he's leading, he's, I don't know, consistently promising things and then doing them, it's really important to appreciate that and tell them, because we tend to sometimes as women, we feel it, we appreciate it inside, and we don't verbally say it. And I've learned that it's so important to verbally say, like, wow, like that made me feel so appreciated, or that made me feel so happy. Because the more I say it to him, the more he feels like valued and the more he wants to do for me. So it kind of works really well. And women tend to, men are more logical, women are more emotional, and I think that's beautiful. Before I used to think like, oh, like my emotions are not great, I'm up and down, I can be sad, I can be happy, but actually that's our power as women, right? Our emotions is something the men can't always feel. Like they can't go so high and they can't go so low, right? We'll be like super excited and super happy, and then the next day we're watching a movie and we're like crying our eyes out or something like that, or the hormones. And if a man is in his masculine space, then he can create that container for you, hold your emotions and be like, look, you can be whatever you want to be. I'm here for you. I love you. If you're upset, if you're happy, it doesn't matter, because that's when a healthy relationship happens. And if I can be in any state that I want to be, or I am, and I feel safe, then I'm relaxed, because like, okay, well, today I'm not in a good mood. And I also verbalize. Okay. So one thing that I never used to do, which was a long time ago now, but I never used to tell, men what I want. So now it's like, let's say I'm having a bad day. I come home and I'm like, I wish he would hug me. So I'm thinking that in my head. And before I'd be like, why am I not reading my mind? Can't he see that I'm upset? Can't he just hug me? And it would lead to arguments, because eventually I'll be like walking around getting more and more angry, right? Like women can probably understand me. We've all done this. And you get pissed off, and then suddenly he's like, what's wrong? And you're like, nothing is wrong, nothing. And the guy's like, doesn't know what's happening. You're like, how can you not even know? How do you not know what's wrong? And so you wind yourself up more and more and more, and then it creates a massive fight. So now I was like, wait a second, why don't I use a different technique? So I come home, I'm upset, I'm like, baby, I'm upset, can I get a hug? He's like, of course. So he comes over, he gives me lots of hugs, right? And then I got what I wanted. And there was, I don't know, I had this like limiting belief about saying what I want to a man, because I felt like they have to know me. But how can anyone know what's going inside of you, right? If you really go deeper, like you only know. Sometimes as a woman, I don't know what's happening with me. How can a guy figure it out? Madara saying true. Yeah, so I would encourage ladies, if you're here, if you want to hear one piece of advice that really helped me with my relationships, is just to be honest and just deliver it in a sweet way. Like, look, I want this right now. Can you give this to me? But in a nice way, like not in a demanding, like, give me a hug. You
And we're getting excited. I did this twice already, but we actually have a section on communication.
Oh yeah.
We were jumping the gun a little bit because we want to
Sorry.
talk about everything. It's all, those are all tidbits.
Okay, yeah, okay. I need to stay on track.
Feminine roles. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is a pure example. I'm like flowy. I'm like, let's just go with the flow. He's like, no, we have a structure.
That's it.
So example, guys, let us know, how is it so far? Put a 1 if you're enjoying this. If you're learning something new, we'll ask you at the end anyway. 1, okay. So feminine role. So we have, yeah, so nourishment, right? Nourishment, sensuality, warmth, and intuition. So these are the prime feminine traits. And I won't go into all of them in detail, but basically sensuality and warmth is when you are in a good state. So one thing I learned is that you are, and you probably heard this before, the most important person. And especially for us women, right? We are the source of inspiration, encouragement, this shiny, beautiful energy. And so you need to take care of yourself as a woman. You need to prioritize yourself always. So for me, I have a routine that I know gives me energy. If you've never done this exercise, and this applies to men too, I would recommend sitting down and writing down 20 things that give you energy. So for me personally, it would be like taking a hot shower, doing a meditation, I don't know, drinking my hot chocolate on a rooftop. And I know that if I do all these little things, I'm filling up myself with like positive energy. And when I feel this way, then I'm a lot more relaxed. I'm more sensual. I'm more kind. I'm more like, hey, baby, hi, and I'm all like I'm flowy, right? And when a woman is relaxed and she's not stressed, and trust me, I've been in both ways. When I'm super stressed in work mode, there's no space to be that flowy, sensual, because that's the last thing on your mind. You're like, I got to get this report done. I got to do this. I got to do this. So it's really important to carve out that time for you as a woman. So you fill your cup first. And then,
guys, that's why it's so important to lead, right? If she comes home and she wants to be in that flowy state, she wants to take care of herself, but she has to make 16 decisions about normal stuff. You didn't order the water. I got to take care of this. I got to take care of planning, whatever. There's no way you can get into that flowy state, right?
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah. The more responsibilities are like, it's like silly things, but like the more things he takes away from my plate. And sometimes even when he sees that I'm in a lower state, like he's like, hey, you sit down, you relax, I'll take care of things. You're like, oh, that's amazing. I can relax. And again, it's so everything we're telling you here requires both people to become that best version, right? Because if you are your best version, then you're going to attract the person who's similar to you. And the last thing I want to just talk about intuition. Intuition is being a key. We all have intuition. Women are a lot more in tune and connected to our intuition. It's something that I've been like really developing over the last 3 years. And so if you're a woman, I would highly encourage you to, again, do lots of different practices, getting into your body, relaxing baths, massages, sound healing, meditations, whatever is going to help you to really connect to you. And your intuition is literally telling you everything. You can ask yourself questions. You can also help your man, lead him in the right way if he needs it. Because men do have intuition, but I don't think it's
not as strong. That's for sure. Yeah.
Strong.
I'll just use yours. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So these are the main feminine traits, and like we said in the beginning, you're gonna have all of them, right? As a woman, you're gonna have leadership skills and structure. It's just like in what percentage. What I want you to think is ask yourself a question: what percentage? And if you feel brave enough, put it in a chat. Like, what percentage do you feel you are in your feminine and in your masculine?
What would you like to be?
And what would you like to be? Yeah. What is yours actually? Let's think.
masculine and feminine. I'm actually, I have a lot of feminine traits. I was raised by all women, and so I have a lot of that side. I have a lot of the hard side, but I would say 75-25 or 80-20. Okay. But it's not all in just how I am, right? Sometimes it takes reminders. I remind myself when I get off my path, when I get into my feminine more often, it requires Allah to step into her masculine, and then we start to bump heads because I'm a lion, I'm a bull sometimes, and you can't have two bulls in a china shop, right? That's the whole part of polarity. And so if I don't take the lead and I'm not my masculine and she has to, that's when a lot of our like little tiffs start. We don't argue very often, but I do notice that when we do, it's because I haven't taken that leadership role and she's had to step into her masculine.
Yeah.
And we're just butting heads. But if there's a clear leader and a clear follower, which is super sexy, by the way, just a sexy like interchange of energy, that's when things tend to work out really well. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think for me, I'm definitely probably like 70% in my feminine and 30% in my masculine.
She does run a huge business and she's a very strong woman. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that can change depending on what I do.
Okay, 60% masculine, 40% feminine, but I have moods too. So yeah. Yeah, no, of course. And the thing is, these percentages also change. Like, I don't want you to think like, oh my gosh, like if you are realizing now that you're more in your masculine or feminine and you don't like that, that's also okay, because that's the first step, right? To realize also every day it can change. You know, like one day you can be more in one and
Yeah. And I'm gonna call my guys out. So Miguel, Drew, Chase, lead, be bold, put it in the chat. What's your masculine, what's your feminine percentage?
yeah, man, you should be, yeah.
Be big, be bold, lead. Yeah.
Damien's leading the way.
Nice.
Doesn't depend on the company.
50-50, Drew. Nice.
That's good, nice and honest. Yeah, that's good. What I want to say as well, because I have built a really huge business and I was leading from a very masculine state for many, many years, literally for, well, 10 plus years. And it's only in the last 3-4 years I started changing, and it was really hard for me to change. But one tip I want to give you, especially if you're a woman and you have a business or you're working and you want to carry on, you know, what you love doing, but you also want to be a feminine woman, I started to separate that. Like when I'm at work, I'm masculine and I get into my masculine state. As soon as I come home, that like goes away and I'm in my feminine. I'm like, hi.
Because I can.
For me.
Yeah. That's really good. Actually, that is going to be our next topic. So we're going to talk about masculine leadership and feminine followership. That is perfect timing.
Yeah.
All right. Miguel, Drew, thanks for putting that in the chat, man. That's brave. All right. So masculine leadership. There's 3 components to masculine leadership. The first thing is, well, let's just list all 3. Lead yourself, lead others, lead your partner. Okay. And so lead the feminine, right? Whoever that is. So first thing is you have to lead yourself before you can lead anybody else. And the way to lead yourself, actually, I was just recording a module on this right before we jumped on this call, which is why we were kind of late and getting stuff done. Is you have to lead yourself and you have to be able to trust yourself in order to lead yourself. And so the easiest way to do that is to keep your promises to yourself. So when you say, yeah, it's really hard. So like one of my clients right now, he committed to me that he's going to wake up every day at 8 a.m. He thinks 8 a.m. is early. I wake up at 5. I don't know about you guys. I wake up at 5 every day so I can get all my stuff done. But he wakes up at 8 a.m. He struggles to do that. And when he doesn't keep his promise to himself, he does not trust himself. And he starts to not be able to lead himself. And now his self-confidence goes down. And you can see it in his body language. Now other people can see that. And now nobody trusts him to lead them because he can't lead himself, because he didn't keep his word to himself. So you have to lead yourself first. And the best way to do that is to trust yourself. The best way to do that is to keep your word to yourself. So whatever commitments you make to yourself, like Alice said, the most important person to yourself has to be yourself, number one. Is keep your word to yourself. You got to do that. And then lead yourself. Look like you respect yourself. When you walk outside, have pride in your appearance, you know? Take pride in your appearance, lead yourself. Get up early, make your bed, you know? Do what you say you're gonna do.
It's important.
Yeah, make your bed every day. It's huge. Dress like you want to dress, like people should respect you, right? Because that's what we tell other people is how much should you respect me based on our the way we present ourselves to others. That's posture, that's dress, that's all kinds of stuff. Lead yourself first, and then you can get to the next one, leading others. So once you lead yourself, once you trust yourself, your confidence naturally rises, and then others will naturally start to follow you. Because once you have confidence in yourself, others can gain confidence from you. And I actually had this feeling, like I've done a lot, like we got some rugby guys on here before, played rugby together, and that's really cool, you know, when you play sports, especially sports that have a lot of like violence and like physical component to them. All the ego, self-doubt all goes away when you get hit in the face, right? Mike Tyson says that all the time. And so you can get into your leadership qualities really quickly, just because there's no other option. When I started doing that at work and just in life, and when I started having inner confidence and leading myself, I noticed that when I was confident, others felt at ease in my presence because I'm leading myself and I have confidence. Then naturally they follow me, which means I get to lead others, right? And once you can lead yourself and you can lead those around you, then you can lead your partner and the feminine. And again, that gives her so much confidence, so much safety in that space, that container that she talks about earlier, which is one of my favorite things to coach to, the masculine container. Once you create that safe space, you've led yourself, others naturally follow you, and now you can lead your partner. It creates so much space for her to be feminine and sweet. You can see how much she's smiling when I describe it, right? It's so cool. So 3 components: lead yourself, lead others, lead your partner.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I had like a really good thought. I was gonna say something, but I just lost it. It's okay. I'll come back to it. I think it's about the create. Oh, it's yeah. So how he was saying about the leadership, I think also for feminine. You know, like what I've noticed about you actually, what was really attractive to me is that when sometimes I get into these like very stressed out moods, or I'm emotional or whatever, or I'm trying to like maybe create an argument, I'm not sure. He's just staying calm and present, and like he's just sometimes takes a deep breath, you know, and I'm like, oops, maybe. And he doesn't like match my energy. So he's not matching my like, oh my God, like, you know, you know, those emotions. He's just ground, and he's standing there and he's like listening and he's just calmly replying. And I've noticed that happened maybe like twice, right? And I just calmed down because I'm like, well, you're not even arguing with me. Like nothing's happening. So what do? You can't like argue with yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, and that is actually for me has been like a new experience, and it's really, really attractive for me as a woman when you as a man can just like be grounded and not like stress out with me if I'm stressing out.
That's a really good point, because women will test you consciously, sometimes unconsciously, a
Most of the
lot,
time.
right? Yeah. A lot of unconscious testing. And the thing is, if you're not leading yourself, you allow others to lead you, right? Somebody's going to take the lead. Somebody has to. And if you don't lead yourself, somebody else will. And if that's your partner, if that's your woman that's leading you, she's going to lose respect for you quickly because she's testing your strength. And that might be consciously. She might be actually messing with you. She's tested me consciously a few times. But it's also just ingrained into ladies' DNA, right? Because at the DNA level, right, survival level, where they're looking for the strongest hunter in the tribe, right? Because they pass on the strongest genes. That's just how we're built. That's in our DNA. And so if she can then break you and she starts to lead you energetically just by throwing a temper tantrum or being emotional, and she pulls you into her emotional state, she starts to lose respect and attraction for you right away. But
Yeah, it's true. I don't even know how it happens. It's not like I do it on purpose, but I have noticed, yeah, like happened in the past. It's just like, I don't know, you just kind of like you start to feel like you're stronger. And if you feel stronger as a woman, you almost like eat these men, you know? It's like, well, I'm gonna eat you now, you know, like not like literally, but you just feel stronger and you're like, what, who's this pussy? Like I can't sorry, can I speak like this?
Slavic honesty, yeah.
I'm just very honest, you know, it's like you don't want that, right? Um, but I want to talk about the feminine side as well, because you know, obviously, as much as a guy wants to lead, if you don't allow him to lead as a feminine, then he's not going to be able to lead. So what I want a woman to hear here is that I give him space, and sometimes unconsciously I don't, but luckily we have really good communication and he reminds me. But when I mean like give him space to lead, it can be anything, right? Like as a woman, and as many women, we can do anything, right? I can open my own doors, I can open bottles, I can screw the what's it called, screwers thingy,
Screwdriver?
whatever, you know
Can't
what I
say it, but
mean?
you can do it, yes.
Basically, I can do whatever, you know, change the lamp. But why would I want to if I'm dating a masculine man, right? Like, I don't want to do that. Not because I can't, just because I feel like I want him to do it. And so I started actually practicing this a while ago, you know, where I would be like, hey, like, I would love if you open a bottle of water, like you're so strong, because like I'm giving him a compliment and it's giving him a chance to open the bottle for me. And it might seem like such a small thing, but it builds up, over the day, or, like then the guys want to open doors for you and they want to treat you like a princess, right? Because you first deserve this and you allow this to yourself and you get into that feminine. That's your feminine state. So, it's really hard. I want to, if we have women here, I want you to do this exercise. And actually, it's really hard when I started doing it years ago. Whenever you go outside now, anywhere, restaurants, tubes, I don't know, anywhere, if there's a guy in front of you, you just wait for the guy to open the door for you. You don't say anything. You just stand there and you wait. And it will feel like the longest wait in your life because not everyone is going to get it. But men naturally lead and men naturally want to open the doors for you and help you. But try practicing that if you don't do that already. I don't actually know. How many women are here allowing their men? Can you let me know? To like open doors for you, I don't know, get you things from the closet, I don't know, do like little things.
Yeah.
So that's how I allow you to lead.
Yeah, and that's what Alice talking about. It's make the space for the masculine to lead. So if we summed it up like succinctly, and it's really important. Like Alice said, she can open up her own water. But last night at dinner, she has a closed bottle of water and she hands it to me so I can open it for her. It makes me feel like I'm taking care of her, and it
Yeah.
makes her feel like a princess.
Yeah.
She could do it herself. If she did it herself, we would both lose that opportunity for it. Big thing for me is so she's from a different culture where leading masculine leading is very big, and I'm learning more and more of that. I was already a gentleman. I love chivalry for sure, like we talked about in the comments actually.
Yeah.
But this is a different level. And so one thing that's really cool that Ala does is she waits in front of the coat. She can put on her own coat, but she waits and lets me put it on for her, and also lets me take it when we go to dinner or something like that. And fellas, I gotta tell you, if you've never put a coat on a woman or you've never taken her coat for her on a date, oh my God, it feels amazing. You'll feel like a king, she'll feel like a princess. And like we said, that spark, that masculine feminine polarity starts right there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's what actually creates this. A lot of people are like, oh, I mean, I go on a date and there's no spark. Spark is not something, sometimes you can have a spark, but it's not real spark. Like spark is what your relationship to each other is created by doing these little things, because you're almost like, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Mhm.
you know?
Stop.
So yeah. And another feminine trait is to ask for what you want in a feminine, soft voice and just delivery, right? Like, for example, if I don't like something that Johnny's doing, or if I don't like something like a man is doing, or I want something more of it, like I'll give you an example, probably women can relate. Let's say, I don't know, he's not, I'm trying to think, you don't do anything. I can't even think anything, but
When I don't lead, I was cheating and I was looking at the next topic.
no. I mean, like, I don't have an example because you're pretty good.
An example of not leading?
No, not just leading, just like if you're not doing something for me and I want you to do it.
Yeah.
But I,
Well, the opening doors, getting her water, like something she asked me to do, that's a really good thing. If she asked me to do something and I say I'll do it, like we all do, and then we get busy, right? Things get in the way, all that kind of stuff. She could nitpick it right away. And she said, you were supposed to take out the trash. You said you'd take out the trash. You're not doing what you said. But she says, in a very soft way, hey baby, could you take out that trash? Like you said, it's so heavy and I would love it if you would take it down for me so I don't have to carry it. Like that's a very different delivery than, hey, you said you were going to take out the trash. Why don't you do what you say you're supposed to do? Right.
yeah, so this is where the women, like, the more you learn about yourself, the more you can deliver messages to men, because women and men, we speak different languages and we hear different things. So the way I approach it now, like I deliver it with more like appreciation and positive sort of sentence. Like instead of being like, why didn't you take the trash out? You said you were gonna do it. There's a difference. It's the same message. Being like, hey, I would love, if you could take the trash out because it kind of stinks in here, or something like that. Make it a joke, make it funny, make it soft, but it's the same thing, but just delivered in a completely different way. And he's like, oh shit, yeah, I gotta do it, and there is no issue. And it's like the little things as well, like I think I can go on for
You
ages.
can, yeah, yeah, yeah. And we actually talked about this. There's a trick in one of my favorite books that you also add in an expectation of the other person. You put that expectation on them in a very positive light, like she said with the trash. Could you take out the trash because it stinks? And you're such a strong man, and I love that you're the type of man that would carry that down for me, so I don't have to.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
there's so many things.
yeah, I love you, that kind of man that you would do that. And I'm like, oh, I am that kind of man. I would love to take the trash out for you, right? Versus, oh, she's always nagging me. Yeah, totally.
And also another thing that I've learned is that is this especially for women, you know, men actually love compliments. And they have to be genuine, but generally, like as women, we get a lot of compliments, you know, most of the time, you know, from other women, from strangers, from men. But men actually don't get as many compliments. And actually it shocked me when I found out. So now like I've actually practiced this with everybody, with friends, with family, with my partner. You know, I just compliment people all the time and it feels really nice. And it also, especially men, they just feel very appreciated all the time. If you're like, wow, you're like so strong. I know it might sound like, because when I tell my girlfriends, they're like, oh, but I don't want to say that. Like, I'm like, it might feel a bit weird at first because we're just not used to it. It's just the same thing as you're just so used to doing the same thing over and over again that your brain doesn't understand like what are you going to gain out of it if you just become like slightly different person and just appreciate things more, right? But like in a genuine way. So I'm always telling Johnny, I'm like, you're so strong. You're so amazing. Like, I love how you did this. I love how you did that. And it's all genuine. I'm not like faking it. It's just how I generally feel, and I'm just expressing it, and I'm not afraid, you know, to say.
Yeah, the feminine wants to feel special, like a princess, right? Even if you're a guy, you want to feel special. And the masculine likes to feel like a king, like you can take over the world, right? Yeah.
Damien said a nice comment there. What do you think about that? Men like flattery as well, but only to a point. I don't like to lie to myself, so I won't let others do it for me. There's a lot there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the big thing is we're going to talk about when we get to communication, and actually we got to speed up a
Yeah.
little bit, but we might go over. It might turn this into a 2-hour webinar. But yeah, the big thing is radical honesty is there. I mean, Al only tells me things that are actually she actually values. Neither of us lie at all, not even little white lies. We are radically honest, and we're about to get in communication. It's just massive. So yeah, only if it's genuine. But there are things that you can appreciate. There are compliments there. But in general, feminine like to feel special when folks are in the feminine role, and the masculine likes to feel like they're taking over the world, right? And then did you get through yours? Should we keep going?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I kind of talked a little about it, just appreciating the leadership, right? If you feel like your man is leading, just be like, wow, like, you know, thank you for leading. I actually tell Johnny sometimes like it's so sexy when you lead because you know, I even forget that he's doing something. And I'm like, it's really attractive. So definitely if you're in a relationship, tell your man a bit more. Don't be afraid. Like men are not gonna just suddenly think like they're the like, you know, it's not like you boosting the ego. You are a little bit, but it's in a way that's going to benefit you, if that makes sense. So they're going to be drawn to you. They'll be like, I want to be around this woman. She's making me feel amazing, you know. Like, and so that's kind of like a cheat code for me personally, you know.
That's that nourishment we were talking about. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
So that's all about masculine and feminine polarity. We talked a lot about it because it's so huge,
Yeah.
and everything else kind of just like flows in with that. So just want to talk about some challenges that can pop up here, and we're gonna do an exercise real quick.
Oh yeah.
So
We're gonna make you do an exercise.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it. Big thing is, if you heard us talking about this and there was a bunch of resistance, right? I'm very aware of stuff in my body. When I feel something that I'm resistant to, it just hits me in my stomach, in my gut, and I can feel it right away. If you were listening and there was something that's like really resistant and you're like, yeah, but, or like, oh, that doesn't really resonate. I can't be like that. And you started to feel bad about yourself, self-doubt, whatever. Just know that there is so much in the way of doing this, right? Like Alice worked a ton on herself. I worked a ton on myself to grow into this state that we're in now. There's so many issues that are standing in the way, like childhood beliefs and actions, things that were told to you, things that happened to you, that get in the way of being our true selves and get in the way of, for me, it was showing my strength to ladies. Like I said, I had some programming and I was raised by all ladies as well, and so showing my strength was actually a negative in my mind. And then I learned that that's actually what makes women feel safe. So if you felt resistance, to any of that, or you were thinking, yeah, but that kind of thing?
Anyone wants to start now and be honest if they felt any resistance about everything we talked so far. If you felt resistance, just be like, yeah, actually, or just type it out for yourself, and for others, because I'm sure you're not the only one. But if you didn't feel any resistance, you can also be like, hey, everything you're saying makes sense for me, because sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, throw it in the
Mother
chat.
is saying she has to go. It's late in UK, but I'll catch up with my partner. Enjoyed it so much and already so much good stuff. Thank you so much.
Sweet. That's awesome. And just remember, yeah, you can watch the replay, so
Yeah.
everybody has access afterwards. But I'd love for you to stick on here if
Well,
you can,
they're
if you're
they're
not in
in
the UK.
UK.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the other part of that is it's not just the childhood stuff we have to deal with. There's a lot of social programming that says um uh that kind of goes against masculine and feminine polarity, right? And gender roles are all over the place. Everybody can be whatever they want to be, but the masculine and feminine polarity thing remains, right? That's where the spark's created. You can't have two bulls in a china shop, that kind of thing. And if both are in their very feminine role, nothing gets done, right? And that can create a lot of ways too. It can result in a lot of unspoken expectations, which leads to resentment. So there's a ton of challenges to the masculine and feminine polarity and just being in your natural role. So if you felt resistance, don't worry about that. That's natural. It takes a lot of work. And it took me a lot of work. It took a lot of mentorship from my side. And that's a lot of what I teach my clients as well.
And I actually think, I used to have a different mindset about this. I used to think like, oh, something's triggering me. I'm not healed. This is a bad thing. But now, if you really like change your mindset and you're like, wow, this is an opportunity for me now to see the areas that I can work on. It's a gift because you're already progressing. That means you're already ahead of yourself the day before. And so if anything is like resonating or not resonating, that could be your area to look into further, right? To find the right mentors, coaches, programs, whatever, and we're actually going to tell you about our 5-day challenge at the end.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so let's do an exercise.
Yeah, I want to get into the exercise for sure. So this is a really cool exercise. Actually, Lynn just popped up. Lynn actually showed me this particular version of this exercise. So we just did a couples webinar last week where they use the scent technique, but a little bit different. I've actually done it maybe 6 different ways in 6 different programs. Super common technique, but really cool. I really like the way this particular one goes. Lynn showed me this. So it's called soul gazing. And so we're going to jump into that. If you're with your partner, we're going to do it with your partner. If you're by yourself, you can still do it with yourself. We're just going to use a mirror. Yeah. Or if you're joined here on your computer, you can use your phone, but I suggest a mirror. So what we're going to do is if you're with your partner, we're just going to stare at each other or eye to eye. And we're going to do left eye to left eye. And we're just going to stare at each other in the eyes. And I'm going to guide you through a couple different locations on our body and a couple of different energies. So if you're by yourself, do this in the mirror, or like I said, if you're joined on your laptop, you can use your phone, just turn the screen around so you can see yourself, but you want to be able to see your eyes really clear. So just take a second and do that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, just get a mirror now if you have a mirror, or just take yourself to the mirror with a laptop or phone or whatever. And yeah, this is very powerful. I also have done this exercise in many different workshops and trainings, and yeah, it's really kind of uncomfortable and scary, I would say, but just trust us.
Yeah.
And if you're in a couple, if you're watching this, you want to face each other, like, so turn your body, and then
Yeah, and just stare left eye to left eye. I'm just gonna stare at Ella. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start.
Yeah. So I'm just staring at Ella because I love staring at Ella. So if you're with a partner, just do what we're doing. Face each other as best you can. Look left eye to left eye. And the trick that I use for myself is I take my iris, the very middle of the eye, and I put that directly into her iris. So she's below you. If you have a short woman with a short torso, you may be looking down, tilt your head. If you have a woman with a very long torso like mine, she might already be eye to eye. And if you're with yourself, just take your iris, the black part, and match it with the left eye of your partner's iris. And so just take a second and relax and stare in your partner's eyes, or stare in your own eyes if you're by yourself. And here's the big thing. So just take a second and we're just going to enjoy this feeling. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your partner. You're going to be tempted to close your eyes and relax, but you can't because we're locking eyes.
Yeah, and don't look away.
Yep. And just relax and just feel the other person or feel yourself and just relax in that space. Take a couple slow, deep breaths, relax, and just enjoy who you're looking at. Feel the love you have for the other person, feel the love that you have for yourself. One more deep breath and just relax and enjoy that person. Keep a straight face.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to practice changing our energy. This is a masculine exercise. So if you're in a couple right now, stare at your couple, and whoever is the masculine partner, I want you to take the lead, and we're going to manipulate the energy in your body. And the really cool thing is your partner is going to feel it as well. This only works if you're genuine and you're leading. So the masculine partner, whoever that is, or with yourself, you're going to lead yourself first. Stare in their eyes and just get into your heart on your body. What I want you to do is feel your heart and just let yourself be overwhelmed with love. And just feel your heart. It's hard to do while I'm leading other people.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe do it.
No, I got
You
you. I
wanna
love
do it?
looking in your eyes. Yeah. So just get into your heart and let your heart open and just let your partner feel overwhelming love. Just appreciation, love for your partner if you're looking at them, love for yourself if you're looking at yourself, and just open your heart and just feel love for whoever you're looking at. Yeah, you feel the love I'm giving you? Yeah. So everybody in here, I don't want you to write in the chat, but just be aware, whoever's leading and whoever's falling, if you're falling, do you feel love? And if you're leading yourself, do you feel your own love? Feels really good. Mm. So next, we're gonna move this energy down a little bit into our guts. So just feel the energy into your stomach. Let the energy pull down into your gut. If you don't know how to do that, don't worry about it. It's an advanced technique, something I teach all the time, energetic embodiment. It takes a little bit of practice, but the big thing is I want you to just feel strong in your guts and feel protection for the person you're looking at. That might be your partner, that might be yourself, but just let them know that whatever happens, you've got them. Whatever happens in the world, whatever happens later, you've got it. This could be your partner, this could be yourself. Let yourself know whatever happens, you can handle it. Let your partner know whatever happens when you walk out the door, I've got you. How do you feel?
Amazing.
Feel safe?
Yeah, let's say.
Safe. Cool.
I love it.
Mm.
I'm squeezing, yeah. I'm squeezing his hand if you obviously can't see. If you're doing it with yourself, it's so important to hear that you've got yourself, right?
You got to trust yourself first. You got to lead yourself. All right. Now, for those that don't know me really good, this might be fun, unexpected. Now we're going to get into our desires. So,
Getting sexual here.
I want you to let your energy go further south and just get into the sexual area of your body. And what you want to feel is just your desires. So if you're looking at your partner, just feel how much they turn you on. Just let them turn you on. Don't be ashamed of your desire. Just let that happen naturally. And if you're looking at yourself, don't be scared of this part of you, right? Look at what you look like when you get turned on in the mirror. Look at what others get to see when you get turned on and you get into that just fiery sexual state, and just appreciate how powerful you are or how sensual you are or whatever it is with your partner or with yourself. And just let yourself get super turned on. Let your desires out and let the other person feel it.
I definitely feel it.
You feel it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel you, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is called emotional contagion. Others can feel what you feel, especially the stronger you get, the more bold you are. All right. So whoever you're sitting next to, whoever you're looking at, your partner, yourself, just take a second, appreciate them, say thank you without saying anything, and then just come back to the present moment. We'll get started again.
Cuddle
And
and
cuddle.
cuddle. Give them a cuddle.
Cuddle's huge.
If you're by yourself, I cuddle myself, you know, like this. It actually works because it's a physical touch.
Mhm. Yeah, there you go, Miguel. Yeah, 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 you gotta love yourself,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do this all the time. I do this.
Yeah. And you can squeeze hard. Like, how much do you love yourself?
Mm.
You know, squeeze yourself.
That's right.
Mm.
Nice. All right.
Guys, how did you find that? Did everyone do the exercise?
Yeah, did you like it? What'd you think?
Was it weird? You can share, you can be honest. Like share your like emotions. And if yeah, if I'm because you know, for me when I did it first time, it was very intense. And I did it also with like partners, like random people. I did it with partners and I did it with myself with a mirror and actually started crying. So if you're crying right now, everything is good. You're just letting out that, you know, you forgot how much you love yourself, how much you protect yourself. I would be just crying my eyes out. So if you're feeling sad or crying, I just want to tell you it's okay, right? You might be feeling different types of emotions.
Yeah, and remember, sharing with others is being bold. So if you're in here and you're working on being bold, being masculine, put it in the comments. Let me know what you felt. Let me know if you felt yourself leading or with your partners. Yeah. All right, so we're what, an hour and 17 minutes into this. So we're behind. We love talking about this stuff. We knew we were
Are
gonna
we
be behind.
behind?
Yeah, we're a little bit. And so I just want to tell you guys something that's coming up before, just in case anybody else has to drop off and run. Again, the replay is going to be on here so you can rewatch it. Please rewatch it because we're going to provide you with a bunch more
Yeah.
value. But I want to tell you about something that's coming up. So we're actually going to do a 5-day challenge, a free 5-day challenge. We're still working on the exact dates, but it's about 3-4 weeks out right now. Is what we're thinking right now.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do a free 5-day challenge on mastering your inner critic. So if anybody knows what an inner critic is, it's that little voice in the back of your head that when you go to do something, it's like, oh, no, no, you can't do that. You're not good enough. You're not tall enough. You're not handsome enough, whatever. It's the thing that keeps you from achieving all of your desires and taking action on what you actually want to do. So we're going to do that 5-day challenge. It's going to be free. We've got an opt-in page. Alice putting in the chat right now.
Yeah.
And like I said, completely free. Just sign up, jump on there, and we're going to go live for 5 days in a row for an hour each day. And we're going to talk about one technique every day that we can use to overcome the inner critic. And that's a huge piece of transforming to be the ideal version of yourself and achieving your dreams. So I don't know if I told everybody on this call yet, but that's what I'm doing now is I got into transformational life coaching, and it's called the Lion's Tail. I'll actually put another link in the chat for that Facebook group. I've got a free Facebook group where we go live and we post resources. And the whole point is becoming your ideal self. And one of the big things about doing that is overcoming that inner critic, which is such a hard thing to do. What would you like to add to that?
Well, yeah, like obviously, like I think, like, you know, if you enjoyed us, if you enjoyed our energy, because I am a very big believer about energies. And since I moved to Mexico 3 years ago, you know, I started to feel energy even more. So for me, if something feels right in my gut and again in my intuition, like definitely come if you enjoyed our energy, if you want to learn more from us, because I believe that the best way to learn from somebody who's has something that maybe you want. And yeah, so Johnny decided to do this free 5-day challenge, which I've never done, by the way, in my 10-year career.
Just felt like jumping in. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and I'm probably gonna appear probably in one of the sessions, like maybe we do another session because there's so much to cover about relationships. But yeah, like overall about everything, you know, we discussed here today, it is about intimacy, right? It is about creating intimacy by being in the right energetical state, in the right energy, feminine and masculine. And actually, you know, like how much time do we have?
We have 10 minutes, but we'll see if anybody wants to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to touch about intimacy. So maybe over 18. I think everyone's over 18 here. Yeah. Let's talk about sex.
Yeah, so you want to skip around? Yeah, I want to say one thing. So just put this in the chat. So we've got 10 minutes left,
Yeah.
90-minute webinar.
Oh, we
I
also will have Q&A, no? Like,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Like, we love talking about this stuff.
yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with extending this to another 30 minutes, making this a 2-hour webinar. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to hang on for a little bit longer and cover some more content, or would you like us to wrap it up? So if you want us to extend it and cover a little bit more stuff, put a 1. And if you want us to keep to the time, put a 2, and we'll cut it
Yeah,
off
we'll
short.
finish in 10 minutes then,
Yeah,
yeah.
2. Miguel's got to run.
Yeah. But basically, well, we have 10 minutes about intimacy.
Yeah, all right. Then we'll just jump into intimacy. And I tell you what, if you've got questions, you can put
Mhm.
them in the chat here, or you can reach out to us directly. Big thing is those 2 links that we just put before we get into intimacy, those are both completely free. Free Facebook group where we go live and we share resources. We share a lot of YouTube videos, shorts, clips, YouTube clips about mindset stuff. And then the 5-day challenge is free as well. Sign up. There's no reason not to. All right, let's jump
No,
into it.
definitely. Yeah, well, I mean, we're not gonna have a lot of time to talk about intimacy fully, but intimacy like doesn't necessarily means just sex, right? Intimacy is something that you create between each other, and it starts with like little things. For me as a woman, you know, like I like when I feel taken care of, and then you know, like for me, it's not like so much physical, it's more emotional for me as a woman, right? I know for men, obviously Johnny will share his side. So for me, it's like, you know, if I feel that he's flirting with me during the day, he's, you know, smacking my bum on the way out, I don't know, complimenting me or telling me that I look pretty in a new dress and things like that, that starts to make me feel wanted and desired. And so then it's almost like that's what intimacy is. And then you build that intimacy throughout the day. It's not something like, oh, you know, like I'm ready, let's go. And I think a lot of the relationships, they start to lose that intimacy that they had in the beginning. And then that's when that, you know, a lot of issues happen, right? In that bedroom department.
Bedroom department. That's a
Yeah.
good way to say that. Yeah, I moved it down a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, so women are like flowers. They need to be watered every day.
Mhm.
Allah tells me this. It's super cool. Intimacy is letting someone else brush your hair. That is very
So
intimate.
good.
Allah actually loves this. Yeah, I do it with my hand
You
too.
can stroke my hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves it. Yeah, super cool. So women are like flowers. They need to be watered every day. And the other piece is like, well, I guess we won't jump the gun. They need to be watered every day. So women are up and down. They're emotional. It's one of the most beautiful things about the feminine, right? Is that they have emotions that go up and down. I actually, Allah talks about this all the time. The masculine actually experiences a lot of the emotions through the feminine. Like we were just at a music festival and Allah is jumping up and down, spinning in circles. I don't know if there's anything on earth that I get this excited about. And she's doing that at this music festival. And I did experience my emotions through her. She gets to be so high. She also goes so low, and that's where I come in. I bring her back out. But it's really cool. They have those ups and downs, and every day they need a little bit of something. Every day throughout the day, they just want to know that you appreciate them. A little something special, right? One
Yeah.
flower, right? One on the way home, I just get like her favorite cheese or like a little
Yeah.
tiny candy bar, right?
Or a sweet message, like it literally can be anything. And I think that's where men maybe get sometimes confused. They think like they need to do a lot of things, but I generally feel women are complicated, but they're also simple in that sense. So if you like, you know, let's be honest, women love attention. Every single woman likes attention, and not in a bad way. It's just like we want to feel all the emotions, right? We need so many emotions throughout the day to feel alive versus men. Men don't need as many emotions. That's why, like, for men, logically, it's like, well, I told her yesterday I love her, or I bought her flowers 2 months ago. What else does she need, you know? And that kind of thinking is logical and masculine, right? Manly, well, in that sense. But as a woman, we want emotions every day, and that's why a lot of women like TV shows, soap operas, right? Because we get a lot of emotion from there, because that's how we live, right? Obviously, there's too much as well. You can go the other way. I'm talking about like the healthy environment. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if there's something that I really want everybody to hear, it's about seduction and that it takes place well before sex. This is something that I learned. Took me a while to learn, actually, something like that. So women are like flowers; they need to be watered every day.
Yes.
And one piece of that is, learn your partner's love languages too, right? Is it gifts? Is it acts of service? That kind of stuff. It's a really easy thing to do. You can take a test together. It's really fun, really good way to bond. But along with that, seduction takes place well before sex. And so flirting throughout the day, right? Little, like Alice said, like little pats on the ass while she's walking by, just telling her she's gorgeous in this dress. She put this dress on and I was like, oh my God, you look amazing. And then I just take a second and appreciate her, and she
Yeah.
can feel that, right? And that was a couple hours ago, right? And I'm setting that intention. So I know for men, we're more like light switches on and off. We're ready, we're not ready. We're ready, we're not ready. For women, they're more like a dimmer switch. And we think about that on a dimmer switch, or at least I did, maybe on the way, right? But if you think of that dimmer switch throughout the day, that's where seduction is placed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like also for me as a woman, like if I feel safe emotionally and obviously physically, I mean, it's not really a question, but emotionally, what I mean by emotional safety, it's like, you got to respect your partner. You got to respect the boundaries. We all have different boundaries. Whatever your boundaries are, you need to discuss it with your partner. Like for me, it was, I had a bad experience before. So for me, it was like, when we got into relationship, even before, because we talked a lot, I said, I don't feel special or appreciated. And I don't, it makes me feel actually horrible inside if you're following like random naked women online. Like for me, that is a boundary. And I'm not going to be like, oh, don't do that. That's your choice. It's just, I don't want to be in the relationship where I don't want to feel that way. And it wasn't even an issue. And so for me, obviously Johnny was like, sure, like we're together now, and I did the same, right? And so like for me, that created emotional safety. So when I feel emotionally safe, that I feel that, there's nothing threatening this, like me, this relationship, then I can relax. And if I feel relaxed, then I'm in a more, sexual mood, right? Let's put it
Yeah.
that way. So it's very, very important to discuss what are the boundaries, because for everybody it's different. We discussed our boundaries. We know, now, like, well, a long time ago now.
Yep.
Just that trust and safety for women, it just creates that sexual desire.
Sexual desire. And so there's a whole section we have that's called safety equals sexy.
Yeah.
It's really cool. When I learned this, I was like, wow, I didn't really think about it this way. And we've got a lot of notes on that. We only got
We
like
have done
2 minutes
that.
left. So
Yeah.
we'll dive into that in another one. We're gonna do more of these. Let us know if you like this and you want us to do more of these. Like just throw a yes in the comments. And we want to do more of these webinars because we just got so many things to share that we've learned along the way that we really want others to know about.
Yeah.
But I just want to mention, we wrote down here attractive qualities. And with a couple minutes left, I just want to mention that something I didn't know as a guy, um, women are much less visual than you might think. Like they all appreciate a man that's in shape and takes care of himself, but it's because it signifies other things about him. The big thing is women are really attracted to energy and how you show up. So I know for ladies, for men, we really appreciate a lot of physical traits because it also tells us things about the women. Do you take care of yourself? That kind of stuff. Do you have pride in your appearance?
Yeah.
But for the men, I want you to hear that women are much more attracted to your energy, how you show up. Do you lead yourself? Are you comfortable in front of her? Are you scared of her? Much more attracted to the energy side than the physical side, which is really cool because you can train that for sure.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like I think and it's been proven so many times. I mean, and a lot of people don't like to hear that, but the truth is men are very visual and they like, beautiful things, right? So as a woman, you want to just take care of yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be like a supermodel. It just means taking care of basic things. You need to smell good. You need to be in a light energy. It's all of these things. That's what's attractive. And for me personally, like, of course, I can find men attractive if they have attractive body, but that's not something that would be on my list number one. It would be like, is this person going to protect me? Is this man going to take care of me, provide, protect, make me feel safe and secure? So that's what's important to me. Is he kind? Is he generous? Is he genuine? It's like a whole list before I get to the body parts. Um,
Particular one. Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean, again, this is such a big topic. I can talk about it
Yeah.
for hours.
And so we want to wrap it up on time. We want to be respectful of your time. So we have a whole other section on this, safety equals sexy. We'll dive into that some more on intimacy, how we actually can initiate that, and a bunch on communication, which is really cool. We actually watched a recent webinar on that, and they just barely touched on this topic. And we were like, oh, we can go so much deeper. But we did learn one technique from them, which is really cool. So I want to wrap this up. I want to say two things. So I got some homework for you. The other thing is, I'll just put the free challenge in the chat again. Again, both of those things are free. Sign up. There's no reason not to. And we'd love to talk to you for 5 days about overcoming your inner critic. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like we mentioned in the beginning, I just want to keep our promise, right? We do what we say, accountability. Anybody wants to come live and ask us any question, like maybe you want to talk about your personal situation, or you can ask a question in the chat if you're struggling in your relationship or you're single or whatever. If you want to share, we can do that. We can
Yeah.
hopefully help you out.
Yeah, go ahead and throw it in there. And while you're doing that,
Or unmute yourself, right?
yeah. Oh, I don't think they can. I took off. We have the power. Yeah, which is good. Just let us know and we'll unmute you. But I do want to give this homework because it's really cool. So homework for everybody here. This takes a lot of bravery, but we just want to do it. It's about radical honesty. So we didn't dive into communication, but one thing I want you to do is just think about one thought that you had today, either with your partner that you're with right now, or separately, or if you don't have a partner, with yourself. Think about one thought that you had today, but you didn't actually say it out loud. You didn't commit to it. And I want you to share that. I want you to share that with your partner, or I want you to share that with yourself. Because if you had a thought and you repressed it, you kept it down, you didn't actually experience it. So I want you to be brave, take a step into radical honesty, and share that one thought you had with your partner or with yourself. And this is something that we'll touch on next time. Radical honesty. It's one of the most freeing things I've ever done in my life. And I really want you to experience a little bit out. So try the homework. And if you have a question, post it right now. Otherwise, we'll give you like the 5-second rule and we'll sign off. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I would really appreciate the feedback as well. You can obviously email us after or share here. Just to, did you have value? We spoke about a lot of things, and just like to recap, we talked about different masculine and feminine energies, polarity, communication, leadership, right? About communication as a woman, communication as a man. We did an exercise. We did embodiment and energy work.
We did attractive qualities.
Yeah.
Touched on intimacy, and then we're going to get into safety equals sexy in the next one, and we're going to dive deeper into communication that we just touched on.
Yeah. So let us know, like, how did you find it? We're starting, so the feedback is very valuable to us. And like, don't be scared to say anything. There's no what's it called, like filters, right? I'm all about honesty, and just be transparent if you loved it. If there's something that you think we could improve on or not improve on.
Yeah, I forgot I moved the camera. Yeah. I was about to type in the chat, but I actually can't do that. All right, what's cool? Very cool breakthroughs in this nice.
Quite a few cool breakthroughs
nice,
in this
Miguel.
90 minutes.
And remember, you're only having breakthroughs because you're committed to the material and actually doing the work. So that's super awesome, and it's a great reflection on yourself. Yeah.
But Miguel, what was your biggest breakthrough, do you think, like, in this 90 minutes? I always enjoy seeing you happy. It makes me happy. He's such a good friend of mine, Damien. We did London cooking classes. Yeah, taught so many people how to cook. Now I'm gonna teach people how to be in love.
Yeah,
and be in relationships.
Which is really cool. So, and then there was a question in here. I was gonna type, but I don't know why I was typing. I'll just say it. So why Alliance-Dale? So that's me. That's my company. Ala is helping me build it, and she's so good. She just helps me with the lessons and all kinds of stuff. But I went through a huge transformation, and got rid of my fears, became my ideal man. That's how I attracted my ideal partner. This woman would have been light years out of my league a couple of years ago, and now she's just slightly out of my league, which is great because she's making me better because I want to be better for her. And my journey, my transformation, I took on an alter ego, Johnny the Lion. I've actually got a bracelet on my wrist here that reminds me all the time. And that allowed me to become my ideal self. And that's what I want to help others experience as well. So the whole point of a lion's tail is to share that transformation so that other people can experience what I did, going from myself, John the Meek, to Johnny the Lion. And I want to help as many people have that same transformation as possible. Now it's helping me do it. So that's the story there.
Well, yeah, the emotional safety, the boundary that Allah had about not watching naked ladies is sexy. Yeah, no, it's true, and we didn't even get into like the other stuff.
I love it.
Now I get it. Fast stuff sounds cool, raw.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love the
no,
comments.
it's good. It's really good. No, I'm really glad. Like, I feel like, if you even learned like one thing, it's so great, like and you guys, well done. I wanna just say, like, I'm very proud of all of you, because you're spending your time learning something new, becoming better, and every time you do something like this, it's a next step to a better life. And that's just my personal experience. If I have just done nothing and been sad and not moved forward, not learned, not constantly kept growing, I would have never been here. I would have never had the life I have now. And so, yeah, I'm very happy that it's actually, I feel it's been amazing.
Yeah. It has been amazing. And we want to share more and more with you. So thanks so much. Very cool emotions through feminine energy. Yeah.
Yeah, he just discovered it like that.
Yeah. It was really cool. Just reading through the comments.
Yeah, you read them out because
I'm gonna
people
get super
on the
distracted.
replay
Yeah, it's
don't
gonna be
see
good.
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't? Oh,
No.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, the comments. I
So
didn't know
Miguel
that.
said also that guys feel very cool emotions through feminine energy. It's 100% true, 100%.
Yeah, and then starts with being honest with yourself. Absolutely, that is key. You're the most important person in every relationship for sure.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about hierarchy.
And we can't. Oh yeah, we'll do that next time. We'll
Okay.
talk about hierarchy of needs. We'll add that to the
Oh,
agenda. I just want to say thanks for everybody being here. Everybody on here is a friend of mine, or a friend of Alice, or a friend of both, and it really means a lot for you guys being here. If you found this valuable, let us know. We'll do more of these. And love that you guys were here with us.
yeah.
Love the interaction in the comments. And thanks so much for joining us. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Yes.
Take care, huh?
See you soon. Bye. Take care. Yeah.
Thanks.